Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
So with this segment, we wanted to address the fact that we are more than halfway now through the new NFL season.
Crazy. I feel like we just started.
I cannot believe it. I am shooketh that we are so far. And it sucks, too, because all year...
I know, because the football's like half over.
I know. All year, we wait, or all summer, rather, at least. We wait. It comes, and it just goes so quickly.
I know.
And then, but, of course, by the time that we're done with it, it's like, wow, that was a long time.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, you think about it, the playoffs are 5 weeks long? 6 weeks long? Because you've got 5 weeks long.
And on top of it, I mean, you just look at it, like this is our 11th show. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't feel like we've done 11 shows, but...
No.
You know.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, wow, it's week 1. I mean, think about what it's going to be like when it's like week 10 or 11, and all of a sudden, here we are at week 10.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, where did the time go?
It's pretty nuts.
Oh my God, the playoffs are going to be here before we know it.
I know.
But since we're halfway through, I figure since everybody else is doing it, I want to go ahead and give out some midseason awards.
Okay.
Or either that or like predictions as to who are going to win, which players have done the best, and who's going to win like your MVP and your offensive rookie of the year and things like that. So I figured that we go ahead. This is UFR's Midseason NFL Awards. So we've got, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. We've got 7 awards that we're giving out. We're going to do MVP, offensive and defensive players of the year, offensive and defensive rookies of the year. We have a most improved category and a most underrated category.
And I have a little bonus category at the end, but I'm going to spring it on you.
Oh, no. Okay. You're just going to test my knowledge.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Okay.
It's an opinion thing.
Let's just go with the big guns first.
Sure.
Let's talk about MVP. In your opinion, who stands out as the candidate most likely to win MVP?
So I have Russell Wilson. His odds are the highest. Vegas has his odds at plus 225. My argument in favor of this is that, and you will probably fight me, I'm prepared, but I think of all of these because it's almost always a quarterback. I think of all of these quarterbacks that we're seeing this year, Russell Wilson's done an amazing job not having a whole lot to go off of. I mean, he's got Chris Carson. He's great. He's got Tyler Lockett. Pretty good, too. But, he's using every man on that field in a very special way that he believes to be the right way. Not sure how much of that is him and how much of it is coaching, but he's I think, by far the best guy out there right now, considering what he's working with.
I think that's accurate. I mean, he makes things happen out on that field. I mean, and you said it. I mean, he doesn't have a lot to deal with. He's got Carson and Lockett, and I mean now he's got Josh Gordon too. But he goes out there and he makes plays. It frustrates me to no end whenever I see him scramble around and him, make these busted plays, and he just chucks the ball down the field and someone catches it and runs it in for a touchdown.
Right.
He is the most valuable player to that team.
Absolutely.
So I totally agree with you. I think that he is absolutely a likely candidate. He's not my candidate. My candidate is actually Lamar Jackson.
Fair.
Kind of the same reason. He goes out there and he makes things happen. He gave himself, I think, a strong case for MVP this past weekend against the Bengals. I mean, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a warped Sports Center stat thing on you here.
Okay.
So through Lamar's first 16 starts, he has more wins than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' first 16 starts.
Sure.
He has more rushing yards than LaDainian Tomlinson's first 16 starts in his first 16. He has a better passer rating than Tom Brady. He has more yards per attempt than Aaron Rodgers, and he has a better completion percentage than Drew Brees.
Wow. He
is also on pace to break Patrick Mahomes' record for fantasy points in a season, which for me is the most important thing considering he's on my fantasy team.
It's so... Can I just say real quick?
Go ahead.
I think I saw a tweet with all of those stats earlier today.
Correct.
And I remember thinking to myself, this is the dumbest tweet I've ever seen in my life. Because I love how you can make... I mean, obviously, look, I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson is not good. I think he is absolutely one of the best quarterbacks we have seen in this generation. He is a generational talent. I just think it is so funny how you can make anyone look better.
Oh, absolutely.
By you could do the same thing with Brock Osweiler if you wanted to.
I was doing it earlier this year. I was like, yeah, Gardner Minshew's better than Tom Brady because he's done whatever in his first game.
You can make anyone look good by doing that, and you can just be like, oh, he's not better than Aaron Rodgers in this category. Well, then let's see if he's better than Drew Brees.
Right, exactly. But the thing with Lamar Jackson is that everybody thought that he would be this, like, solely running quarterback, and he would just, the next Mike Vick or whatever. Like, he'd take the ball and just run with it. But this season, he surprised everybody by being a passing quarterback.
Right.
And I think that's what surprised people, and it showed that he can do both. He can be a runner, and he can be an effective passer. And he's made the Ravens better. They're leading their division. They're running away with it. They embarrassed the Patriots on Sunday night at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think Lamar Jackson has a case here for MVP.
Look, I don't disagree with you. In fact, if we're going to move on, I have Lamar Jackson as my Offensive Player of the Year.
Got it. Okay.
For similar reasons that I won't repeat, but interesting. I kind of have a runner-up for Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
And I just kind of wanted to run this by you.
Sure.
So the player is Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
And here's why. Now we are in a situation where Teddy Bridgewater went in for Drew Brees and went 5-0. And Brees has now, as of Sunday, gone 2-2 this season.
Right. I'm
not suggesting in any way that Brees needs to go and they need to put Bridgewater back in. And I don't think that they will, regardless, because I think that Brees is nearing the end of his career and he's got a lot of loyalty. There's a lot of loyalty to him in that franchise. But I wanted to just bring him up as a potential candidate for this because it's not going to happen this year. What I'm saying is that he is definitely a candidate for the future.
Oh, sure. I mean, the fact that he went in and replaced Drew Brees and won 5 games without him.
Yeah, and it now officially has a record twice as good. More than twice as good as Brees.
He should earn a contract. He should earn a starting spot on a team next year. He should.
And that's the funny thing about it is he absolutely should.
Yes.
But is he going to leave New Orleans? I don't think so.
I don't know. Well, if you were playing backup and you got a job to start, wouldn't you take it? If the offer were good enough, I would take it.
I don't think he will, though.
That's a really interesting point about Teddy Bridgewater.
I think he's really happy where he is.
In my opinion, 5 games doesn't equal a whole season.
Sure.
So I don't think it's ever going to happen, him winning Offensive Player of the Year, but it's a good case. My Offensive Player of the Year is Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
For Carolina Panthers. You made a great point about the MVP never being anything other than a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're going to pick an MVP that's not a quarterback, it's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude has, just this season alone, 989 rush yards. He has 11 touchdowns already through 10 games, mm-hmm. which is more than his first 2 seasons on the ground combined. He's also got 396 receptions, 396 receiving yards for 3 touchdowns. The dude is a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's not Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson, it should be Christian McCaffrey. Right.
No, I don't disagree with you. This is, I really like these awards because we get to, speak very highly about all these players. It's, not us being assholes. Why don't you take this one? Who's your Offensive Rookie of the Year?
My Offensive Rookie of the Year is, do we want to do Defensive Player or after this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine with doing offense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I switched my thing, so sorry.
My Offensive Rookie of the Year is Josh Jacobs for the Oakland Raiders. I think he's just a runaway for the award. I mean, I think he's got it in the bag. He's got 811 rushing yards, which puts him 4th in the league among active running backs right now. He's got 7 touchdowns. By the way, the Raiders are 5-4.
Yeah,
the Oakland Raiders have a winning record without Antonio Brown.
That's pretty crazy. Without it, who cares about that? But
yeah, I know,
still.
but everybody thought that they'd be in the tubes.
Yeah.
Since they lost this great receiver, but they found this revelation in Josh Jacobs. He's great. I mean, he was Rookie of the Month in October, and he's clutch. He didn't have a great game against the Chargers a couple weeks ago, but he had the game-winning touchdown, which I think is important. He's the only running back in the last 7 years with 2 games of 25 or more 2 games of more than 25 carries with no negative yards. So I think it's really important that when he runs with the ball, he's able to move forward and deal blows instead of receiving them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for a running back, and I think he's made all the difference to a team that really didn't have any direction to start the season.
Interesting.
So for that, For that reason, Josh Jacobs is my offensive rookie of the year.
Okay. Cool.
Can I take a guess at yours?
Sure.
Is it Daniel Jones?
No.
It's
no, and I would like to talk about this later, but
because it hit me right before the show. I was like, shit, I know who our offensive rookie of the year is, and now I have to defend mine. Okay, who is your offensive rookie of the year?
Who am I if I'm not surprising you?
Fair enough.
I've got two again. Just because you know me, I like to stir the pot. So I have DK Metcalf.
Ooh, interesting choice.
And yes, and it is interesting. And the reason is because we haven't really seen a whole lot of him yet, but we're gonna. I really, truly believe that we're gonna.
If he has a home stretch like he did in Week 9,
yeah,
I would think DK Metcalf will be up there for offensive rookie of the year.
100%, and particularly considering what we were talking about with Seattle not really having the weaponry that would really serve Russell Wilson so well. I think that DK is a really good opportunity for Russell to kind of like really train like a new guy underneath him. And also, I just want to throw out too, like, I think it's pretty amazing that the Seahawks and the Niners are like leading the division. You know,
I love that. It's two good teams.
Two really good teams who honestly like weren't really in the conversation, like the Super Bowl conversation this year.
Right.
At the beginning of the year.
I didn't think so. Real quick about the Seattle Seahawks. They have managed to turn their franchise around without completely falling into oblivion.
Yeah.
Like, when their offensive line was in shambles and the Legion of Boom all left for other places, I was like, they're sunk, they're done, say goodbye. The lowest they dropped was like 7-9.
Right.
And then they turned the ship around, and now they're back in the Super Bowl conversation again.
I know.
It's just a testament to Pete Carroll's coaching and the fact that, Russell Wilson's able to build this offense around him to make it good.
And remember back to Russell Wilson. Remember when there was a conversation last year that was like, is Russell Wilson done? Ha! Ha! But I also want to throw into the conversation Gardner Minshew.
Okay, interesting.
Only because, again, this is mostly just because I like to stir the pot. I'm just throwing it in because we haven't seen Nick Foles back yet. We're going to kind of see how that goes with the re-injured collarbone coming back off of that. Gardner has had some great games and some Gardner Minshew the second. I apologize,
Lord Gardner Minshew,
for my disrespect. But we've seen good play from him. We've seen bad play from him.
But we've seen overall consistent play from him.
Consistent, I would say, yeah, for the most part. And if Foles comes back and really isn't ready, I mean, look, the Jags don't really have an easy schedule, and particularly considering, everything that they've just been through and Foles having not played, it's not going to be easy. And we have all of these teams like the Seahawks, like the Niners, like, at this point, the Dolphins, whatever, but there are a million teams in the NFL this year that are surprising us. So, I don't think it would be far-fetched if Minshew sees the field again this year.
Yeah,
if the Jags aren't happy with Foles. Yeah. So we're going to have to see what happens. But just wanted to, again, throw that out there.
That's solid. I like that.
Who's your defensive player of the year?
You go first on this one.
All right, fine. Aaron Donald still.
Okay. Third year in a row.
Yep.
Wow.
He's made the Rams' offensive drives really super unbearably boring to watch. Like when I'm watching a game, I'm watching only, like I'm flipping channels, like just to get to the defense. Also, question, is Aaron Donald hot?
I don't know what he looks like, so.
Okay, he's doing these commercials. I don't even know what the fucking product is, man. I'm like, holy crap. I think Aaron Donald's like a really good looking dude. But that's unrelated to obviously his performance. Despite the Rams not performing as well as predicted, making a run, they're really in that Super Bowl hangover and that loss and just kind of floundering around. And I think the one good thing about them is Aaron Donald right now.
Mm-hmm. That's valid.
So,
my defensive player of the year is Stephon Gilmore, cornerback of the Patriots.
Sure.
Patriots have the second best defense in the NFL at the moment. Second best pass defense. Gilmore is, I think, the best corner in football at the moment. The dude's got 3 interceptions, one of them for a touchdown. He's got 10 passes defended and 27 tackles this season. Mm-hmm. He's just able to cover your team's best receiver no matter what. And we haven't really seen him get beat at all this year. He has become the standout stud corner that the Patriots have been looking for. since Darrelle Revis left.
Yeah.
He is the front runner. Last I checked, I think the Vegas odds had him at plus 600. I would not be surprised if he is in the conversation at the end of the year.
I wouldn't either.
Should the Patriots continue their success on defense?
Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. Who you got for rookie?
Do you have a defensive rookie of the year?
Yeah, I've got two. My runner-up is Chase Winovich.
Okay.
But I've been just so impressed by Nick Bosa.
Agreed. He's also mine.
Obviously, 49ers doing 49ers things that we didn't know that they could do again. Just a really, really quality defensive end. I don't know. When I think about these conversations of who the best players are and whatever, I think about if this player was missing from a roster, what it would do to a team. And I think the Niners would be in a little bit of trouble without Nick Bosa.
I think his defining moment of this year was when he just ate Kyle Allen for breakfast against the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
He sacked him 3 times and then took an interception back for a touchdown, I think.
That was a beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah, if there were Oscar packages for NFL awards, that would be his Oscar package.
100%.
The devouring of Kyle Allen.
Right.
So, yeah, no, the 49ers have the best defense in football, and it's no surprise that one of the Bosa brothers is leading the pack on that. So I agree. He's also my defensive rookie of the year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Woo! We've never agreed. That's awesome.
You nailed it.
Awesome.
I've got a most improved player of the year.
Yeah,
and I want to know if you agree with me on this. My most improved player is Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
I love that pick.
So from last year to this year, just everything that Josh Allen has done has improved. I mean, his record is better. He was 5-6 in 11 games he started last year. He's 6-3 through 9 games this year. The Bills are actually playoff contenders. His touchdown per game average has improved. It went from 10 touchdowns through 11 games last year. He's got 10 touchdowns in 9 games this year. His completion percentage has gone up. His touchdown percentage has gone up. The dude has just straight up gotten better. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to actually compete in the AFC East, I think that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen's become one of the more solid quarterbacks in the NFL from last year to this year. So he's my most improved player.
I love that pick. I think I love that pick more than my pick.
Okay.
Because my pick is a little bit more just sentimental. But another Buffalo Bill, Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. Frank Gore hasn't necessarily improved. But he's, in the traditional sense. But he's finally working with a team that is earning him the recognition that he has deserved for so long.
Okay.
This motherfucker is old. He is a running back. Last as long as he has, and he is, setting new records for himself that I truly, if you'd asked me 3-4 years ago, I didn't think Frank Gore would still be playing in the league, let alone playing as well as he is. Obviously with the assistance of Josh Allen. So that was mine. But Frank Gore is also my most underrated. Again.
He's the most underrated. Okay.
Yeah, and that's just moving into the next category.
Sure.
Most underrated. It's rare that you see that kind of talent at that age, having been thrown from team to team. Obviously coming to the Bills from the Dolphins,
right.
And the Bills not supposed to be as good as they are this year. It's really got to kind of take a toll on you physically and also emotionally. You start to think wow, am I ever gonna fucking win a Super Bowl? And
no, but continue.
I mean, the answer might still be no. We don't know, but I think that Frank Gore has just done some incredible work this year, and I'm very happy for him.
Nice. Yeah, it's a feel good story for sure.
Absolutely.
My most underrated player might not be so underrated. It's Amari Cooper.
Okay.
For the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Since this dude came over from Oakland, he has totally changed the fortunes of the Dallas Cowboys.
You're not
There
wrong.
was a stat that went up last night in this ridiculous, stupid Top Gun graphic, and Amari Cooper was Maverick, but the stats were there. Since the trade, the Cowboys are 12-5.
Yeah.
I think before it was a 500 record or something like that. He's just made the Cowboys better. In 2018, when he came over from the Raiders, from whenever he was traded to the end of the year, his average yard per game was 107, mm-hmm. which is the most by a lot in a player for a player to switch teams midseason.
Wow.
For another team. Yeah, the dude has made the team night and day, and he's turned his career around. When he was in Oakland, everybody was like, "Oh man, you're going to be really great," and then he wasn't, and everybody was like, "You suck." And then then he went over to Dallas, and he's completely changed his outlook. Mm-hmm. He's become one of the best receivers in football, in my opinion. And his connection with Dak Prescott is unlike any other. that I've seen.
It's definitely something special.
Seriously. So he's my most underrated. Not that he's like, underrated. He's their best receiver, but no one. He's under the shadow of all these other great offensive players that we're talking about, and I think Amari Cooper should be talked about more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Can I throw a curveball at you?
You sure can.
Sports puns.
Baseball.
Who's your most overrated player?
Oh boy. Okay. Oh man, most overrated player.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, it can't be anybody who's injured, right? Can it?
It can.
No, I mean I'm gonna say Cam Newton, but like meh.
Mine is.
Is it Cam Newton?
No, not Cam Newton, but it is someone who's injured.
Is it someone who's injured? Okay, why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard.
Okay, explain.
So
so that I have time to think.
I think that Sterling Shepard is the reason. I mean, and obviously, look, Sterling Shepard is not overrated by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he hasn't played in the last 3 games, but my issue is suddenly everyone is kind of blaming the Giants on the fact that they like quote unquote have no team right now, and that's just like not the case. There's suddenly all this talk about should Sterling Shepard retire, which, by the way, he is way too young for. I mean, obviously this concussion situation is a problem, and if he's in pain and he can't be at practice and playing games, then yeah, maybe he should consider it. But I think that Sterling Shepard is overrated because, like, if you're gonna point fingers at why the Giants keep losing games, which they just keep losing games. You point your fingers at Shermer, sure. But that wasn't the question. The most overrated player is Sterling Shepard because everyone believes that he is like the almighty and potentially could, when he comes back, bring the Giants to some kind of a record, because I don't even call what we have right now a record.
It's 2-8, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I predicted that they'd win 6 games.
That's not going very well for you.
They gotta win out, right?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
What do you got?
I had 2. They both play for the same team.
Okay.
They're both Cleveland Browns. But the one that I wanted to settle on was Odell Beckham Jr.
Of course.
Because he plays for me. I'm trying to find his name on this. Oh, there he is. Okay, cool. So he ranks 116th so far this year in touchdown receptions. He's behind names like, Tyler Boyd, who's, injured. He's behind names like Jacob Hollister, who is that? He's behind names like Jaron Brown, who plays for Seattle, I've never friggin' heard of before. He's behind Jordan Atkins, behind Tyler Eifert, who plays for Cincinnati, which is where football careers go to die. He's behind Gerald Everett, the backup tight end for the Los Angeles Rams. He's behind a whole bunch of other players. The dude... If I had known that the Cleveland Browns were never going to throw the ball to him, I never would have picked him for my fantasy team.
Right.
Which also ties into the fact that Baker Mayfield is one of the most overrated players I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like... He had like a Tim Tebow / Johnny Manziel type deal without, all the bad quarterback throws and all the drug stuff. In that he's had a great first couple of games and then he finally played like some real teams and it's just kind of gone down the tubes. Part of me thinks that they should have kept Greg Williams as head coach because I feel like he knew how to... I mean, you look at me like, what are you talking about? But, I mean, they won some games with him. I mean, Yeah, but... I know. Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. are my 2 overrated players of the year.
Those are good picks.
God, have they been terrible this year.
Those are traditional and good picks. I like that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, who means the most to me in this situation? And it's Odell because he's done nothing for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand.
Do you have a coach of the year real quick? Mine is Sean Payton.
Okay.
Mostly because of the Teddy Bridgewater thing. The fact that he's able to guide a backup quarterback to 5 wins in replacement of a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer is very impressive. So Sean Payton managing to keep the ship afloat despite not having Drew Brees is very impressive.
I love that you said that too because I think Sean Payton with what he's done with the New Orleans offense in the last 2 years even, I think he might be in the running for my favorite NFL coach of all time. Definitely a contender for coach of the year. But I don't know. I mean, I think Kyle Shanahan is in there in that conversation, obviously. I think... Adam Gase. I'm kidding. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Kyle Shanahan's a good pick.
Kyle.
Words are hard.
Yeah. We should take a break.
Okay, that sounds good. Finish your thought so that I can edit it to make it sound like you have a thought.
I think Kyle Shanahan is definitely a choice for Coach of the Year, particularly just because right now we're looking at a 49ers Super Bowl, and that's pretty cool.
For the moment, yeah.
And he's, his second year, right?
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
That's good. All right, that's a lot. Let's take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to talk about some fantasy football.
Okay.
I have some news to share.
Yeah.
So stick around.
Yeah.
We shall be back.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.